There's been some real serious times in Herbalife for me when I felt like saying, hey, that's the end of the deal, okay? Why would it be worth it for me to keep doing this, okay? There's been plenty of times for me like that in Herbalife, okay? When I had my very first meeting and I had the baggie full of powder and I was telling my best friends, and let me tell you something, these guys definitely hurt my feelings. They had been in 2 companies with me that had gone under. They knew I was serious about weight loss. They knew that's all I wanted to do because of what happened to my mom. And when I came to them, I was legitimately asking for their help. I said, listen, you guys, no kidding, man. These other companies went out on us, but we're gonna do this thing, and it's gonna happen, and it's gonna be the most incredible thing that ever happened to us, okay? And those guys were all flakes, and they said, hey, look it, this is a joke. Nothing's gonna happen. You don't think that those guys didn't hurt my feelings? And I didn't think to myself, my goodness, who am I going to go to now after everybody I was counting on to get me started just said that this is a miserable joke? You don't think the next morning I had to wake up and say, my goodness, now what am I going to do? Well, I'll tell you what I did. I started passing out flyers, and I started calling people up out of the telephone book. I started going into the newspapers, and nobody told me this stuff. I just was desperate. I said, I'm going to make it no matter what. And I got the telephone book out, and I started calling people out of the telephone book, and I made up little excuses to talk to them, okay? And then I would call people right out of the newspapers that needed jobs, and I'd say, listen, I'd call Joe in there. He says he was a gardener. I said, Joe, I understand you're looking for a gardening job. He said, yes, I am. I said, listen, Joe, I don't need anybody to mow my lawn. How would you like to make an extra $2,000 a month over and above your present income? Would you be interested in taking a look at it? He said, yeah, I would. I said, listen, there's a meeting tonight. Come on down. I set up a little stand on the corner on Robertson Boulevard. Cost me about $10, this little stand. And I was actually selling little Dixie cup milkshakes out on the street corner for 50 cents at a time just to get people to try my product back then. Okay? Here's what you do when it's disappointing. Here's what you do when it doesn't look like it's going to work. Here's what you do. You do what it takes. That's what you do.